All right, so you managed to pick your way through the wall of confusion and narrow it down to a diaphragm reed that you want to start calling on. But now what? How do you put the reed in your mouth? Where exactly in the roof of your mouth do you put the reed? How do you hold it up there with your tongue? But most importantly, how do you make sounds? In this video, we're going to get you started in the right direction, right here, right now. Hey everybody, Michael Batiste from the Elk Calling Academy, where we give you your blueprint for success in the elk woods. On this channel, we do call reviews, gear reviews, elk calling lessons, tips, and tutorials just like this one. So if you're new, you might want to subscribe. Welcome back to the Beginner's Guide to Elk Calling. So in chapter 1, we talked about how to select the right diaphragm reed. So now you've selected a reed, you're ready to get started. And I'm sure just like everybody else, you went ahead and you read the back of the packaging to figure out where to start, but now you're kind of more confused than you were to even begin with. Not to worry. In this video, we're going to break it down where to put that diaphragm reed in the roof of your mouth, how to make contact, and we're even going to give you some drills to get started making sounds. The first question we need to answer is, where does the reed go in the roof of your mouth? This image right here shows an approximate location to start putting the diaphragm in the roof of your mouth. If you notice, the front of the reed is almost in line with your canine teeth. Now, like I said, this is a starting point. You may need to move the reed back towards the soft palate portion of your mouth to find the best place that that reed will sit to give you the best seal. Because that's what we're really looking for when we put that reed up into the roof of our mouth, is getting the best air seal that we can so that we can channel the air over the latex and start making sounds. Now that we have the reed positioned up in the roof of our mouth, what's next? Basically, we need to move our tongue up onto that reed to get that good seal. And really the best way to describe it is push your tongue up against the reed on the roof of your mouth, just like you were going to flatten out a piece of bubble gum. Now, the one thing that I see a lot of beginners make is they'll kind of have this V in their tongue. What you want to do is you want to take the outside edges of your tongue and roll them down to flatten it out. That gives you a nice flat surface for pushing that reed up to the roof of the mouth and also controlling the air. So now that we have the diaphragm pushed up to the roof of our mouth with our tongue, there's another adjustment that we need to make. I see a lot of new students at Elk Calling Academy that are new callers that basically are trying to control that diaphragm with the very tip of our tongue. Two things happen with this. One is we don't have a lot of control on the tip of our tongue, so it's pretty difficult to control the reed. And two, the tip of your tongue is pretty sensitive, so you will actually feel that latex vibrate and it'll tickle a little bit. So if you've been trying to make sounds for a little bit and you're getting a lot of tickling feeling, or you feel that tickle, that just means that all you need to do is take the tip of your tongue and slide it forward with the contact on the diaphragm. Now, what we've ended up here with is we're on kind of the middle portion of our tongue that we can actually control a lot better. Now, there's a couple of things you can do with the tip of your tongue. One is you can just curve that and point it straight down to the bottom portion of your mouth, or you can point that tip right behind your bottom teeth as a place to just set that tip of the tongue so you are working on the middle portion. Now that we have the diaphragm pressed to the roof of our mouth and our tongue rolled forward, it's time to start letting air escape between our tongue and that latex and start making sound. Now, if you are barely making contact, and I mean barely touching that reed, as soon as you let that air escape, it should sound something like this. That is with very little tongue pressure. Now remember, in the first video we talked about more pressure the higher the note. So now I want you to do that same thing, but now I want you to kind of flex your tongue a little bit up into that latex and start applying more air pressure. That right there will give you an example of just how little bit of adjustment it takes with your tongue and the air pressure to get it up to the next note. Now that you've kind of gotten that down, now we're going to go from low and just go up the stair a little bit. Now what I'm doing for each of those steps is I'm applying just a little bit more tongue pressure, which means I'm flexing that center portion of the tongue to where I'm feeling contact on that reed. I'm just kind of flexing it up a little bit, but then I am also applying more air pressure to get those notes to step up. Now that we've gotten into making sounds, this is a great time to check if the reed is in the right place in the roof of your mouth. If you're hearing a lot of air escaping, that means you're not getting that really good seal, and it could be one of two things. It could be one, your tongue is still kind of not completely flattened out, or two, you may need to move that reed a little farther back or maybe even farther forward in the roof of your mouth to get that good seal. Now that we have the reed sitting in a good place on the roof of our mouth, we have a good seal, there's not air leaking out, and we can kind of do those steps a little bit and get changes. What are some drills to become more proficient at calling? Well, that ladder or stair is a great one. I'm going to demonstrate this. This is the Huntress from Wapiti River Outdoors. This is actually a call that I do recommend to beginners. Another one would be the Mellow Yellow Mama from Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls and Supplies, and you may even look at the orange amp frame from Phelps Game Calls. All three of these reeds are excellent beginner reeds. So the first step drill is pretty easy. We're going to start down in the basement, and we're just going to step up from basement, first floor, second floor, third floor, and it sounds something like this. One more time. Each time with each step, I'm just applying a little bit more pressure with my tongue, but I'm also increasing air pressure going off that reed. Now for the second drill, we're going to reverse it. We're going to go all the way up to the third floor, which means we're going to apply quite a bit of pressure with our tongue and our air to start, and then we're going to slowly come back down into the basement. And it should sound something like this. This one is a little harder to do because you're actually pulling pressure off with your tongue and cutting off the air pressure a little bit, and those are a little bit harder to control as opposed to going up like we did in the drill before. For our third drill, we're going to do the same thing that we did in the second drill, which means we're going to start at the third floor and come down, but we're not going to stop at each step. We are slowly just going to relax and come all the way down, and it should sound like this. Now, each time we do that, we want to shorten the duration up so we're kind of coming down a little faster. And as we start to slow that down, you guys are going to notice it starts to sound like something. Congratulations, you just made your first elk sound, a cow mew. Now that you've learned that cow mew, let's really learn how to control it. Now that we have the basic structure of cow vocalizations, here's a couple of quick tips. And I'm going to reference something that we've done pretty much our whole life, which is telling somebody to be quiet. Shh. So imagine just telling somebody to be quiet and putting that little bit higher pressure. So with the reed in the mouth, now you've basically done a mew. A shorter version of a mew is called a chirp, which is just like telling somebody to be quiet in a little harsher manner. Shh. Shh. A little shorter. With the reed in the mouth, so when you combine the two of those, shh, shh, you combine mews and chirps. With the reed in the mouth, now you're well on your way of calling elk. Now that we have the pieces put together, where the diaphragm goes in the roof of our mouth, how our tongue contacts it, our diaphragm, and even a few drills, I would love to hear feedback from you guys. How's the practicing going? How are the cow sounds going? In the comments section down below, let me know if this video was helpful to you. If you're new to the channel, you might want to consider subscribing. You can actually click right here and take you over to the subscribe page. Once you subscribe to our channel, then you actually have full access to all of our videos. And currently right now, we're running a giveaway where we are giving away a single sling archer's pack from Tenzing. You can click on the link right here and get entered into that. If you're enjoying the Beginner's Guide to Elk Calling, you want to know more, that's pretty easy. You can click right here and that will take you over to all the videos contained within the Beginner's Guide to Elk Calling. In chapter 1, we kind of laid the foundation. In this chapter, we kind of started building the walls with proper reed placement, tongue contact, air pressure, and even gave you some drills. We hope that you've been enjoying the Beginner's Guide to Elk Calling brought to you by Elk Calling Academy. In the next chapter, we're going to dive a little bit deeper and we're going to start adding our voice and a little bit more air pressure to add a little bit of attitude. Until then, keep practicing, and we look forward to seeing you in chapter 3.